Can you beat Black Ops 6 Zombies as Revolver Ocelot? Well, you definitely can't say my content isn't sometimes creative. So Metal Gear Solid Delta released a couple months ago, and because of it, I've been playing through the entire Metal Gear Saga, and one character that I've absolutely loved in every single game they've appeared in has been Ocelot, which is probably due to me playing Snake Eater first. So when I saw the Gravemakers being added in Season 5, I knew what I had to do. So that's why today, we're going to be trying to beat Black Ops 6 Zombies using only what Revolver Ocelot has used throughout the Metal Gear franchise, which is surprisingly more varied than you think given the name of the man. However, only 2 weapons he uses actually appear in BO6. The Colt single action revolver or the Gravemaker, and the Makarov or the 9mm PM. There's also some more map specific roles, but we'll get to that when we get to the maps. But without further ado, my bitches, my bros, and my non-binary hoes, let's begin. Starting out with Liberty Falls, I thought it was only fitting if I was allowed to only use one revolver instead of dual wielding them, as Ocelot actually doesn't begin to dual wield his revolvers until the 3rd time we meet him as Snake Eater. And I did the entire Easter egg following this rule until my dumbass realized, wait, the first time we meet Ocelot, he's using a Makarov, so according to this logic, shouldn't I be using the Makarov instead of the revolver? So that's exactly what I did. I also decided to carry over the perk limit rule from the Abe Lincoln run, although I did modify it a tiny bit for this run. See, instead of only being able to drink whatever 5 perks I want to, I have first limited myself to only the perks I feel like Ocelot would have actually chosen, which limited me to Juggernog, Speed Cola, and Deadshot, as there was multiple lines in the boss fight where Ocelot refers to having fast reload speed, and he's able to ricochet bullets off of other objects to hit you, which remind me of both Speed Cola and Double Tap. Nope, both Speed Cola and Deadshot. And also, since he's a boss, he does have more health than your average goon, so I thought Juggernog would be fitting. Double Tap is also fair game, but I decided not to grab it in this run for whatever reason. An additional rule that I also thought up is, as staying true to the fact that every time Ocelot shows up in MGS Delta, he always has this one more piece of gear they didn't have before. With each map, I'll be adding one random perk to my loadout as well, starting with Terminus. Most of the egg did go very straightforward. Only real hiccup was an incredibly stupid down I had on round 18, which I blame on the fact that I was super tired when I did this run and practically had no sleep. That being said, the rest of the egg went completely fine. I was able to deal with both LTG elites with almost no trouble, and within no time, it was time for me to do the boss fight. Both phases 1 and 2 went extremely smooth, almost too smooth. But in phase 3, I was struggling to deal with the enemies quick enough, so I was forced to train, and training in that tiny ass arena without quick revive didn't end up so well for me. Luckily, with an extremely well timed Ether Shroud, I was able to completely melt the Mangler, thin out the Horde, and take out most Abomination's health before killing off normally, which thankfully resulted in Pano sucking me off, proving that you can indeed beat Liberty Falls as Revolver Ocelot. Moving on to Terminus, I need to spend the first few minutes fixing my HUD, as Shrek never really seemed to get this HUD feature to actually work. I made my way through the map, turning on all the generators, and by round 5, I have a Pack-a-Punch Gravemaker with Deadwire, so I can begin the main quest. I also pick up some Deadshot for some extra crit damage, and I put in the number, which I can very much do all on my own, Peck. Thank you. I was a codebreaker for the NSA after all. I think I can handle this. Sadly though, I was forced to wait 4 rounds to continue the egg because this game seems to have it hard-coded that you have to wait until round 9 to begin the Beam Smasher quest. Why is this a requirement? I don't know, but it is. 2 rounds later, I got the Beam Smasher and decided to grab Juggernog and Speed Cola before moving on to my newest perk for this map, Stamina Up. I could give the excuse that, hey, Ocelot, it's pretty fast, so that's why I grabbed it, but honestly, I'm just lazy and I got bored of walking around this map. It's gigantic. In round 12, I begin to fight Nathan, who immediately shows me who's actually the boss here. I like to think this was the game's way of telling me that using Stamina Up was very cheap. After this very minor setback, I decided to keep my space and just slowly kill my brother, which eventually worked. However, due to me wasting my shock charge in the Nathan fight, which didn't even work, might I add, I was forced to waste 500 salvage so I could build one because, you know, fuck doing that step normally. After putting in both the tubes, I get to meet the person that Key really goons over. You guys think he's down bad for Maya's feet? You should hear the fucking shit he says about Modi. I decided to wait until round 25 so I could grab all my perks before doing the bomb step, where I take another down because smoke grenades just don't work for me sometimes. So I'm just gonna come out and say it. Fuck smoke grenades. After rebuying my perks, we finally enter the boss fight, which goes a lot easier than I had actually expected it to. Maybe it's because the last time I did this fight, it was with the Essex, but I was able to do some really great damage against Patient 13's sexy little pimples.
What?
Phase 2 took a little longer as I needed to get in the middle consistently to hit his mouth, but once we moved on to his little fart bubbles, I was able to take them out really quickly due to the Gravemaker randomly dealing 2,000 more damage to those than it was the other crit spots. I don't know why, but hey, I'm not complaining. And then Phase 3 went extremely quick due to me having Shadow Rift, so I was able to take out his eyes extremely quickly, proving that you can indeed beat Terminus as Revolver Ocelot. Citadel is where things begin to get off the rails for me. Attempt 1 ended in this bullshit death that I'm still confused about weeks later. Game 2, I decided to lock the fuck in and try my best to get this challenge over with, as my anger towards BO6 kept building. See, when I recorded this, it was around the time of the BO7 news, which for those of you following on Twitter know, really turned me sour on this. Don't get me wrong, I've always had my fair share of issues with BO6, but seeing them address every single issue I personally had since the launch of BO6 in this game really pissed me off for some reason. It started to make me truly realize that Treyarch had essentially been treating BO6, a fully priced game, as an open beta or a playtest for the game they actually wanted to make. And being one of these players who spent their hard-earned money on this game, it kind of irritated me. And suddenly, so much of this started to make sense. Why so much of this game was reused content, while we had the same reused enemies over and over again, why the story of the Terminus felt like it was being artificially extended for no real reason other than to keep it going longer. And all of that clicking in my head just really soured my mood for trying to play BO6. And on top of all of that, Treyarch broke the fucking revolvers in the first place, and the reload was completely busted. So if you try to reload the gun while it's pack-a-punch, it would just reload one bullet at a time. I'm not stopping it in this footage. It unironically just did that. And so with all that on my mind, I just wanted to get through the rest of these maps as quickly as I could. On round 7, I opened up the rest of the map, spoke to Craft, and got my crown to ensure that everyone knows that my name is indeed Nicole Kelly, Queen of the Rats. Sometime in between, I also decided to do a random trial, which rewarded me with Death Perception, which was, ironically enough, the random perk I was given for this run, so, hells yeah. I mean, it's fucking useless, and nothing changed by me having it, but, hey, I got it early, I guess. Round 13, I finished a trap step, and despite the fact I said I wanted to do this egg as quickly as possible earlier, I did decide to do the Franco side egg, which in my opinion should have honestly been a required main step if you're playing as Maya. Anyway, we put Franco on ice. Get it? Because there's fire all around them, but I said he's on ice. God, I'm so funny.
No, you're not. Yes, I am. No, you're not. Yes, I am.
Then we get all the swords and begin to do the whip step, which is honestly super easy. There's barely an inconvenience. And then on round 25, I go into the boss fight, and as always, twirl my gun around instead of fighting the big daddy statue monster currently trying to kill me. There isn't much I can really say about this fight. I would just kind of shoot at the big hot monster and hope I didn't take damage. The pistols did struggle against the armor a bit, but once I was able to break through his defenses, I could get some really big damage off and just absolutely melt the daddy of the amulet. A few more minutes go by and I can finally kill the Guardian. I take a picture of the amulet to send to Corbo, and I prove that you can indeed beat Citadel Day Moore as Revolver Ocelot. The tomb is where my anger for this game fully began to set in. Not only was I angry at BO6 for resisting, the fact that zombie beta would only be 3 days long was just announced, and I was frustrated with Call of Duty. I also failed my first attempt for being stupid and tired, and I was just not in a good place mentally to be doing this video. And I'd also just moved to a new chair and desk, so my arm wasn't quite used to the angle it was at now, which made aiming on my mouse harder while I adjusted to the new angle. And if that wasn't bad enough, the cousin of the spider I'd killed back in the Spaceland video decided to attack me for revenge.
Second steady comes, oh my god, it's a spider. It's a big spider.
And we're not doing this, okay? This isn't fucking Dead Arcade, okay? I don't want to have a video come out in 3 years titled Nicole Cringe, Revenge of the Spiderback. We're done. This is the last spider that is going to attack me during recordings. Okay? Capiche, the arachnid community? Do you understand what I'm saying to you? We're not doing this again. You tried twice, you failed twice, you're done. I also gave up trying to fix my HUD because it got really old fixing my HUD every 20 fucking seconds because the game just wouldn't save my settings. I went through the motions of doing the rest of the egg, but honestly, I felt nothing the entire time. Honestly, the only thing that kept me going was listening to the song Gang Bang at the Old Folks Home by the Steel Panthers until I finally got to the boss fight where I had probably the worst crash out I ever had. You know what? I gotta draw a line somewhere, chat. Can you beat it as fucking Ocelot? Probably, but I can't because can he fucking... Okay, that was bad aim, but honestly, can you fix the revolver? Having to deal with this match was fucking awful, Treyarch. I would love this revolver if it functioned. I ain't being negative, because I've been asking for a revolver the entire game's life cycle because I love revolvers. They're my favorite pistol. One of my favorite guns in general are revolvers. Cold Python, single action, top two guns for me. And you had one of them, and they fucking suck, and it kills me. You took my soul out of my heart, Treyarch. You stomped on it. You fucking stomped on it. You killed it. And fuck you, Treyarch. Why the fuck would you kill my soul for? What have I done to you? Huh? Have I ever hurt your soul, Treyarch? I don't think so. What am I even complaining about? So to answer the question, can you beat Black Ops 6's Revolver Ocelot? Probably, but I can't. I think it's just time to accept I do not enjoy playing this game like I used to. So I am done. For real this time. And I'm just gonna hope that Black Ops 7 will be better than this game. Will it be? Probably not, but I sincerely hope so. I hope that Treyarch takes the criticism we have of this game, and we don't see them doing more drip feed content that was already in the previous game at launch. That we don't see them create completely unique wonder weapons that get cut last minute to fulfill some nostalgia slot quota. That we don't see them cut content just to save it for the next game. That storylines don't disappear as quickly as they're introduced. I really hope that this year, Treyarch finally listens to the community, the same way they have for MP this year, and we can finally get something that is truly great, because I am getting tired of talking about how these games could have been great if XYZ never happened. Instead, I wish I could just say that these games are great and talk about that. Anyway, I'm done ranting. I will see you guys later, my bitches, my bros, and my non-binary hoes. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I'll see you later. Peace.